Today I'm going to show you how to make an accordion book. You will use this tutorial to begin your Elements of Art Dictionary project. Before you begin, you will need to gather the following supplies. You will need 2 pieces of mat board cut to the same size, 2 lengths of paper folded into 3 equal sections each, Elmer's glue and a paper towel for spreading the glue, and Scotch tape. I'm also going to show you an option to cover your book in fabric. Should you choose to go with this option, you will also need scissors and 2 pieces of fabric large enough to wrap around your cover. To start building your book, find the mat board and your 2 lengths of paper. Stand your paper up on the table to line up the 2 loose ends. It is important that you take your time to make sure that you line up these papers correctly in order for the accordion book to work properly when assembled. Once you have them lined up, grab your Scotch tape and tear a piece the same length as the ends of the paper strips. If you can work with a partner on this part, it is much easier. One person can hold the paper while the other tapes. In either case, place the tape along one edge of the paper and fold carefully over the second paper so that you get a nice clean edge, sealing the 2 papers together. Now turn the paper strips over and add a second piece of tape to reinforce this connection. This piece of tape should be a bit longer than the edge of the paper so that you can fold over the edges to make sure that the gap between the 2 paper lengths is completely covered. Fold your pages back up and the inside of the book is complete. Now to add the cover. Find your 2 pieces of mat board and decide which side you want to face out as the outside cover of your book. Place that side face down on the table. Add glue to the outside page of the paper you just assembled. Use a paper towel to spread the glue out so that you have a nice even layer that goes to the edges of the paper. Be careful not to add too much glue or your pages will wrinkle when adhered, or it will cause all of the pages to stick together. Place the glue side down on the mat board, taking care to place the pages in the center of the mat board, leaving an even border around all sides. Now apply glue to the page facing up and again spread it out evenly to the edges of the paper. Be careful not to use too much glue. Place the other mat board on top of the glued page, taking care to have the correct side facing out and to line up the edges with the other mat board. The mat board and the paper should all be evenly aligned. At this point the assembly is done, but you'll want to let your book sit undisturbed until the glue is dry. Carefully place pressure along both sides of the accordion book to make sure that the pages are glued evenly. It can help to place a heavy object like a book or a box on top of your accordion book to help ensure that the pages and the mat board stay firmly pressed together until the glue is dry. Since you didn't use too much glue, it shouldn't take too long for the glue to stick to the pages. Nicely done. You've made your accordion book. If you want your accordion book to have a fabric cover, cut 2 pieces of fabric to be about 1.5 inches larger than your mat board. Center your mat board on the fabric and cut the corners diagonally on each corner. This just helps ensure that the fabric doesn't bunch when you fold it over the mat board. Once you have all your corners cut, add a thin bead of glue on each edge of the mat board. A little goes a long way because the fabric is very thin, so start off really light. You can always add more. Use your paper towel to spread the glue in an even layer towards the edge of the mat board. Now, firmly press your thumbs down on the mat board and roll the edge of the fabric over the side, pressing the fabric into the glue. It's good to work with opposite sides, so go across the mat board and fold the other side down next. And then you can go to the opposite edges. You might have to experiment a bit with the amount of glue that you use to make sure you get the right amount. You want enough glue to adhere the fabric, but not so much glue that it oozes through the fabric and makes a mess of your book. You can add a bit more glue at a time. You want to make sure that the fabric is nicely adhered to the mat board. Ideally, you have the mat board covered with fabric. Once you cover both mat boards with fabric, you add the pages in the same way as we did before, adding glue carefully and spreading it out. Make sure that the pages are adhering to the fabric, and smooth out the front and back pages as needed. When using fabric, it's even more essential that you weight the book and give it time to dry. There you have it. You've made an accordion book. You're now free to decorate the front cover of your accordion book with Sharpies, markers, colored pencils, or maybe even acrylic paint, especially if you have a fabric cover. Have fun. I hope you enjoyed creating your accordion book and challenge you to see how you can stretch and explore to find other ways to use this skill.